Boom 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 boom.
Is it recording?
Yes.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Sophisticating Sandwiches Wrestling Podcast. I am the displeased wrestling geek, Dale Curtis.
And I'm Clark V. Tatum, somebody.
And we're here today to discuss a little bit of everything. A little bit of Extreme Rules, a little bit of Raw.
A little bit of fashion tips, a little bit about animals, and, driving safety. We're going to cover all those subjects today.
Yeah, except none of the things he said.
Oh,
And
I
we're
never
also,
get any input.
And we're also going to cover King of the Ring. So let's start with Extreme Rules. And I don't necessarily want to go over the whole pay-per-view, but there was one thing I wanted to bring up that I think is important. And that's that this pay-per-view is stupid.
Yes.
Having Extreme Rules, having 12 pay-per-views a year is bad on its own. Extreme Rules exposes the business in the current PG era, and here's why. You can't have blood. I mean, you can, but you really can't. You can't use that much blood, and on a pay-per-view full of things like Russian chain matches and cage matches and
Chicago street fights.
and Chicago street fights and things like that, nobody buys that there's not going to be a shit ton of blood.
There should be blood.
There's blood in almost every MMA fight, and they have no weapons whatsoever. So nobody buys it, and it exposes the business. And so I don't like the idea of Extreme Rules, or like Hell in a Cell, or ladder.
I don't like the idea of no blood more than
I don't like the idea of no blood as a strict rule. I appreciate
the safety element that's a part of it,
Well,
yeah, but...
I appreciate the safety element. I also appreciate not using it all the fucking time.
Alright.
Because there was a period where it was like, oh, look, Road Dogg and Viscera are fighting in the opening match. They're bleeding. And it's ridiculous. If you use it every once in a while to enhance a feud, it's perfect. WWE has been doing that well. The problem is you kind of have to break that rule when you're doing something like Extreme Rules, and they can't do that. So no, I don't like Extreme Rules, and I don't like the no blood as a strict rule. I don't like the gimmick pay-per-views to begin with.
It's kind of dumb.
Well, and here's the thing, is that Extreme Rules matches are supposed to be... They're supposed to be feud enders. Things like cage matches and chains matches and all this other shit, Hell in a Cell, they're supposed to be feud enders.
Most of those were feud starters for the most part.
That's what drives me nuts, is the fact that these things are supposed to end feuds, and they're using it to start feuds half the time. It just doesn't make any sense. And it devalues the idea of these Extreme Rules, these cage matches. It devalues the idea of all of it. And so when you do get a really hot feud that needs to be ended in a Hell in a Cell, no one cares because we just saw a goddamn pay-per-view full of them. Why does that matter? And so that's really my rant about Extreme Rules. Pretty much the right person won every match, I think. With a
few exceptions.
A few exceptions, but
overall, I found the pay-per-view very disappointing. I thought there was some really good matches, surprisingly good matches. Like you got Roman Reigns versus Big Show. I thought that almost stole the whole show, to be perfectly honest. But that was the only one that really surprised me. When it comes to the other matches, like you look at the Russian chain match, nothing new there. The cage match wasn't very interesting, to be perfectly honest. I liked
it
both
wasn't. The
wrestlers,
cage match
but-
was overbooked as shit.
Right.
With Kane as the gatekeeper.
Randy Orton's not one for cage matches, and he's lazy. But that's
No,
a different...
Orton sucks inside of a cage.
Yeah,
Orton's worse than cruiserweights.
It doesn't
Orton
make
sucks
any
inside of a
sense. Well,
cage.
certain cruiserweights can be good, but
Occasionally.
Orton doesn't have the style or the motivation to be in a cage. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't bring any new story. Seth Rollins was the only one. He was trying to work that whole match, and Randy Orton was just doing nothing.
On a side note, Seth Rollins has very quickly become like my favorite guy.
Yeah.
I love the work he's doing right now. He's improved his game on the mic and in the ring so fucking much.
And it's interesting to see a champion who doesn't quote unquote deserve his title because every match he's won, and which is a problem because I want Seth Rollins to look strong.
Well, yeah,
but how he's dealt with the gimmick and how he's pushed the gimmick along has been really, really good for.
Well,
him.
and that's the thing. You can't say he looks weak necessarily because that's kind of his thing.
Well, the problem, though, is you look at the Royal Rumble Triple Threat, and he was looking awesome, but for some reason, now he looks like he can't win a match by himself, even versus a low-card guy for some reason. That's the one problem I'm having.
Well, the problem is that with today's fans, and Seth is so good, that if you have him looking good, the fans are going to cheer him. And for your top heel, that's absolutely not what you want. And my biggest problem
they're still cheering him. If you listen to Extreme Rules,
there's a lot of fans
they were
still cheering
chanting
him. But they get all the Cena fans to boo him still. So they need somebody to boo him because he's supposed to be a fucking heel. And he's doing all this heel shit, and the fans still cheer him.
Well, maybe it's just time for the business to evolve in a way, but that's a different discussion.
That's like 3 hours of another conversation.
Right.
But yeah, as far as Extreme Rules, I don't know as disappointed is the word I would use.
I felt like it was going to be a lot better, and here's the thing.
I'd give it a solid B-.
I don't know. I'd give it a C. I felt really disappointed. One of the best matches was on the pre-show, so it doesn't count in my eyes.
I count that.
I don't count the pre-show.
That's what gets
them
to
be
be
on the pay-per-view.
That's what gets them to B-, though.
No, the problem is if it was on, I would give it the B- if that was on the show, but it wasn't, and that's stupid because that was way better than some of the other matches. The tag team match was really good. I'll give them that. The chain match wasn't the worst thing ever. I felt there was some stupid aspects about it. It's so gimmicky. It's not.
That match specifically, I like chain matches when they can be brutal and they're about the chain. I do not like chain matches when they do that drag the guy around to all four corners gimmick.
Right. The only time I saw that match work was Eddie Guerrero versus JBL. That was the only time.
And those two could make an on a pole match work, so it doesn't count.
Those two worked so well together.
It was beautiful. But other than that, I didn't mind Extreme Rules. It's Extreme Rules traditionally sucks.
Yeah.
Being the pay-per-view after WrestleMania, and my view comes from the fact that I don't think it sucked as much as it usually does.
Oh, that's
and
fair.
so I'm willing to give it props for that, I guess.
The problem is it's also so connected to the whole ECW debauchery that they were going on, and so it's just a part of that. I don't think they take it seriously. Excuse me. I don't think they take it seriously necessarily because it has that connection there, and I think the fans lose a little bit of respect for the pay-per-view because it looks like they were just trying to extract this certain gimmick from ECW when they made it.
It really does. You can say Extreme Rules all you want, and most fans just hear One Night Stand.
Right.
Because
not
it's
the
really
good kind.
No, and not the good one. Like the third one.
Yeah.
With Kane.
I don't even, dude.
Moving on. The Raw after Extreme Rules was fucking weird.
It was a mixed bag. There was some really good stuff, and then there was some shit.
Then there was some stuff that I'm really kind of amazed was on the show. Things like a match between Fandango and Adam Rose.
I was pissed off because, and I was tweeting about this. It pisses me off because those two were having a good match, but it was only like 2 minutes, and there was like several 2-minute matches. Don't have 3 hours if you're not going to fucking use it. Maybe cut some of the stupid fucking segments you have and use the actual matches to entertain us instead of boring us down with this Kane is turning, but he's not turning bullshit.
Yeah, I was tired of the whole Kane thing after a week of it.
Right.
The fact that they have dragged it on through Raws and SmackDowns all fucking month has been nothing short of infuriating.
Well, and if he turns, it's like, oh wow, that was never saw coming or whatever. You couldn't telegraph that any harder.
And if he doesn't, who gives a red fuck?
Right.
If he doesn't turn, none of this matters. It was all a waste of time to fuck with the fans.
It's all a waste of time anyway.
It's all a waste of time anyway.
There's no way, because let's face it, and if this doesn't happen, I'm going to be actually rather pissed. Let's face it, Seth Rollins is going to keep the title until Brock Lesnar comes back, and I don't know what they're going to do at then, but he's not going to lose it to anybody until Brock Lesnar comes back. And if he does lose it beforehand, I'll be pissed. But this whole Kane thing won't make any sense by then. Because one, Brock Lesnar will be able to kick Seth Rollins' ass without Kane turning on him or some shit like that.
Right.
And so it's just, this Kane thing is a waste of time. It's to kill time until Brock Lesnar comes back. That's basically it. Same with the Randy Orton feud.
And my other thing about the Kane thing is that, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it seems to me like for the last, I don't know, like year, 2 years or so, they've just been kind of searching for shit for Kane to do.
Same with Big Show.
Like he doesn't fit organically into any of the stuff they do, but everyone loves Kane so much that they want to find shit for him to do, and so they kind of shoehorn him in there.
Here's the problem, I think, is the fact that we're in a new era. Straight up, we're in a new era. It's not the Attitude Era. And Kane came before the Attitude Era. Let's remember that. He's just, I hate to say it, and I said it before, and I'll say it again. Big Show and Kane, you need to get out of the business. Love you. You've done so many awesome things. But it's time to go collect that big check at the end of the rainbow and just retire. I'm don't hurt yourselves anymore because you're doing that.
Except in wrestling, there is no big check at the end of the rainbow.
No, I guess
it's just kind of debt and alcoholism.
Yeah, but because I said it, I thought the Roman Reigns versus Big Show match at Extreme Rules, awesome. Still think Big Show needs to retire though.
Yeah, they managed to pull off a good match, but Mick Foley managed to pull off good matches at an age when he shouldn't have even been getting in the ring.
Right.
So the fact that you can pull off a good match means nothing to me.
Right. And again, love Big Show. He's been around too long, and he's not in great health. As much as he tries to get in shape, I was very impressed when he was trying to get in shape again, but he's just, his health, his internal bone structure is not the good. You can't improve that.
There's no workout that brings the cartilage back in your knees.
Right, exactly.
There's no workout that can fix your spine when it's fucked up.
And I say it because I'm worried about Big Show. I don't want him to
No, I'm not hating on Big Show. I'm a big fan of his, and I want to see him retire before he has to get rolled around in a fucking wheelchair everywhere he goes. Other than that, yeah, Raw was weird.
I will say officially, I didn't like it. I thought there were some really good things about it, especially Neville winning because he's not getting buried despite what everyone
Neville
was saying.
moving on. We'll talk about the King of the Ring. The King of the Ring is the real main focus of today's talk. We'll talk about that more later. But Neville winning and moving forward was a big high point for me. I love that we got to see Heath Slater, even though he didn't get his match.
I was kind of, and Jacob was coming down just for the Invitational because like sometimes he'll watch Raw, but sometimes he'll just come down for the specific stuff. And he was like looking forward to it. So he was saying, "Is it weird that I'm looking forward to a John Cena match?" And then Heath Slater comes out, and we're like, "Oh, because we're big Slater fans. We love Slater. Slater's gonna slate." But then he comes out, and then Rusev, who I also love. I just love Rusev. If you see me on Twitter, I'm always for Rusev.
Machka.
Yeah, America Hawk Tui. But he comes out.
Wrong guy.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. The point.
It doesn't matter. Foreign heel number 37.
Right, but he comes out and he interrupts the whole thing. He pushes Slater. He knocks out Slater, and no Invitational match. I'm like, fuck!
I wanted Slater. Slater better get something out of this,
right.
goddammit. Axel got Axelmania out of us ranting online. Slater should at least get something out of this.
That's another thing I want to talk about, but just let me get this out. Okay, Heath Slater is like the Boston Brawler. Brooklyn. Didn't he change it to Boston Brawler or something?
Yeah, when he turned heel for like a
minute.
Right.
the Brooklyn Brawler. He's kind of like that, and I think he'll be remembered so much for being the jobber who was willing to take the heat and the jobbing and whatnot. And I think he'll be remembered mostly for that, which is cool.
We all love Heath Slater
because he's not gonna get the push. I love him, but he's never gonna get the push or anything. So yeah, I'd love to have seen that match, but either way, it was kind of, that moment was kind of one of the bad moments of the night because people starting to look forward to it. We were all looking forward
to a Heath Slater match, and we weren't the only ones. I could hear it in the crowd.
Right, and but either way, moving on, I want to talk about the Damien Sandow Axel Mania segment. Yeah. I love both guys. That was a not great segment.
This segment was really bad, and I've heard apparently we're the only ones who think so.
Well, I think it's because people want to love Damien Sandow.
They really do, and I want to love Damien Sandow.
And he's great. I think they're banking on this stunt double gimmick.
Well, and the problem is it's not even the stunt double gimmick anymore. Now he's just mocking people in a childish voice like he's fucking 12.
Right, and he can do so much more. Let him do more. Don't stick on this whole mimicking thing. Let him do more. I'm not sure, because I feel like he was like doing it, and he's kind of like, oh shit, I could have done something way better than this, but we're already in it, let's go. But I hope they do more. I'm not going to put the nail in the coffin just yet, because they could do more.
They can
might
turn it around.
Right. And especially with an Axelmania Sandow feud. I'm just going to call him Axelmania.
God, I would watch the shit out of Axel.
That would be an awesome feud. Do that. You push both guys. Just have them feud for like the next 2-3 pay-per-views. No one will care if it ends. That's one that people could just see going on forever.
Yeah, we could watch that all day.
Honestly.
As long as it's not the shit we saw last night.
Right. Well, I love that Axel, he was like, stop it, man. It's like, he's kind of getting to him in a bullish way. That's
the other one I wanted to talk about New Day.
New Day, yeah.
I have officially turned around on New Day. They, in their new heel gimmick, they've really nailed it.
Yes.
I love that they've doubled down on the clapping and annoying and being so fucking happy it pisses everyone off.
I think they gave them the titles too soon, but I do like the gimmick. I think they should have
worked the gimmick.
The tag
titles don't mean shit at this point.
It's sad,
so
though.
It's like, it's a prop now.
My problem is, what does that mean for Tyson Kidd and Cesaro? Are they going to be facing him 50 million times, or are they going to start slowing them down? Because those two are a great team. They are the tag division right now, is the thing. They represent perfectly what the tag division should be.
I really like where the tag division is going right now.
In terms of team, except...
Here's the problem. I've said that 5 or 6 times in the last decade. And I'm always wrong.
Right.
About a week after I say that, they end up completely dismantling the tag teams. And so, look for Cesaro and Kidd to split up within the next 2 weeks here, and the Lucha Dragons to go back to NXT.
I didn't see them at all.
New Day to disappear.
Like, for the last 2 weeks, though I didn't watch a lot of Raw.
There wasn't a lot of Lucha Dragons, and that kind of upset me.
Well, I just hope they're going to use them.
Yeah, I hope they don't just shove them back, because if anyone should have gotten sent back to NXT, it was the Ascension.
Well, it's not the Ascension's fault. They started on the wrong foot, and it completely killed them. And someone gave them that gimmick to kill them. There's no way that they looked at that.
There is somebody backstage who didn't like the Ascension that gave them that gimmick so they would go away. I guarantee.
Because they were kicking ass in NXT, and they were doing the feud with the Lucha Dragons, and everybody was loving it, and they were devastating. But then they come up, and they look like the fucking Legion of Doom bullshit with the makeup. I'm like, that wasn't... No.
Not even like good Legion of Doom. It was like Nerf foam fake Legion of Doom.
Right.
But I'm not happy with any of it. The tag division, they need to care about it. The talent
great
is
matches.
There. The talent is there, but the talent's there in TNA too, and nobody watches that.
Yeah.
You have...
Someone's with, hey, I watched TNA. Unsubscribe.
Cancel sophisticating sandwiches. But the thing I wanted to really discuss today was the King of the Ring.
Yes.
Which I enjoyed. King of the Ring was last night, and I enjoyed it. I feel like WWE botched it. King of the Ring back in the day, it was huge. It was a big ass. They got, I don't know how many, like 16 people started out in King of the Ring. And they whittled it down, and then you had a one-night tournament where the winner had to go through, like, 3 matches.
Yeah, here's the problem.
Here they started with, like, 8 people, and you had to have 2 matches last night, and they basically it's like they didn't know what they were doing. Well, it's like it was on the fly. It's like on Monday they went, hey, we're doing this King of the Ring thing now real quick, and then they did it real quick, and now it's over.
That's the problem. Like, I love King of the Ring. Some of the best moments in wrestling come from King of the Ring. Here's the problem. They wanted to promote King of the Ring on the network, but they knew they couldn't do the whole night there because no one would watch it, because no one would care, because no one had any investment. But if they did the first round on Raw, then people might turn in to finish the whole thing. But the problem is that it cut it short. They should have done the whole thing and find some other way to promote it, because it should have been... Because I was thinking... Only 2 matches, or only 3 matches total? Really?
Yeah, 8-man tournaments just seem so small.
Was it 8 man? It seemed like...
Yeah.
No, it was 4 men at the... Because they only...
during the show. But it started on Raw with 8 people.
Right, true.
Whereas it used to start with 16. They'd do it for, a few episodes, and they'd whittle it down to the 8, and then they'd do the 8-man tournament on the King of the Ring pay-per-view.
Right.
Which made it seem big and grand and interesting and important. When you do an 8-man tournament where 1 round is one day and then the next day on the network you get the next 2 rounds and it's over, it just seems really
You got really excited for nothing.
Yeah,
for the most part.
It seems just like an underwhelming orgasm.
With that said, some really fucking good matches on King of the Ring.
Oh yeah. The night itself was hella entertaining.
Yes.
I loved every second of it.
And I wasn't disappointed with the result at the end.
No,
I thought
Barrett winning, Neville going to the finals was all we could really ask for, being as new as he is. They clearly want to push him to the moon. Barrett deserved the win. It's more of a heel gimmick anyway.
Right. Yeah, you can't really put that on a face.
It's hard.
Yeah, because was Stone Cold Steve Austin a face when he did that? Even if he was still kind of the anti-hero.
No, he was still a heel at that point, or at least trying to be. Because that was where the Austin 316 speech was and the real start of him rising as an anti-hero. So they were still trying to do the Stone Cold character as a heel. They almost always give it to a heel, minus the first one, which was given to Mabel for reasons that we'll never understand.
It happens.
But it's a better heel gimmick, and Wade Barrett is a fantastic talent.
I'm sorry, and I just want, because he did a promo that night, and he's like, he said, like, he'll no longer, because he was Wade Barrett, he was talking about Neville, it's like, he's no longer going to be the man that gravity forgot. He's going to be the guy that nobody remembered, or something like that. I'm like, that's just, that everyone forgot. Clear. But then that brings me to another point. They kept saying, what was it? King Bad News?
King Bad News, I like it.
No, the Bad News King. Bad News King. Just smoother. Just it's smoother. Think about it before you say it. It's smoother. Both those could have been way smoother.
Okay, now hold on. You're asking Jerry Lawler to think before he speaks into a microphone.
I thought it was JBL.
I don't care who it was. Well, JBL you can't blame because he's drunk all the time.
Right.
JBL hides whiskey under that fucking desk. I just realized I'm about to start a rant about how horrible the announce team is again, and I want to avoid that because we've done that enough. But yeah, the night was fantastic. Barrett versus Neville is an amazing match.
Yes, that was a really good match.
If you haven't watched the King of the Ring special, go ahead and watch it. It's
worth it.
It's better than both Extreme Rules and Raw this week, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it was probably the best of. And the thing is, I like the idea of events that are just on the network. It sells the network a lot better, though they need to do things better than they did that. Like, I think they could redo Saturday Main Event or whatever. They could redo it like that, because that was like the kind of semi-pay-per-view thing, the pseudo-pay-per-view, and they could do that on the network.
Every few months they would have one. And it would be a big show, but it wouldn't really be a pay-per-view. It would be like 2 hours long. And that'd be a good idea. I like the idea of them bringing in special events on the network. I just feel like King of the Ring itself should be treated with more respect.
Right.
Because it's a title that wrestler is going to have to carry and try and get over for the next however long.
Yeah.
And so if you start by treating it like a footnote, it makes him look ridiculous for trying to get it over.
Right. And my worry was no one's going to see it because people don't watch stuff, but they do. But my point is...
They do now. The network, surprisingly, they have almost 1.5 million subscribers, and I see people tweeting about the stuff that's on the network more often than I see them tweeting about Raw, I'll tell you that shit.
Right. But my worry is that it's not canon. Because it's not on TV. It's not canon.
It's not canon.
It's not canon. And so it'll come out one day, and all these other fans, these not 1 million fans or 1 million subscribers, are going to be, there was King of the Ring. Shit, when was King of the Ring? When was that pay-per-view on?
Right?
When were they doing that? And then they're going to see, network. I don't have the fucking net. I canceled that shit.
But then they'll be like, I have to get the network now.
Very true. But then they're like,
give Vince McMahon my $10.
I want to know the exact number of people who canceled the network, because I bet you it's not that much.
No, I guarantee you it wasn't that many.
No, yeah, cancel it. I'm not canceling this shit. There's too much wrestling on there. But cancel it, guy. Yeah, because we're pissed off. And I'm not canceling. There's too much wrestling.
Their stupid move was running that campaign like a month before WrestleMania.
Right. No one's going.
Who's going to subscribe just before WrestleMania?
Yeah, just.
Jesus Christ, guys. All right, that's enough ripping on that.
Yeah.
This has been the Sophisticating Sandwiches Wrestling Podcast.
The Rantamania.
Rantamania.
As we're trying to catch on. Tell your friends. Subscribe, all that stuff. Click on the things.
Click on the things and do the stuff.
Yeah.
And follow us. We're currently working on filming the newest episode of Displeased Wrestling Geek.
Depressed Wrestling
Geek. That would be a sad show.
That would be funny.
I don't want to do that. Probably lots of Jeff Hardy posters.
Well, he's just watching TNA, and that's why he's so sad.
Is this really the only wrestling that exists? Paints dark face paint.
Right. All he's got is Destination America channel.
Life is meaningless. Well, life would be meaningless if all you had was Destination America.
Yeah, but anyways.
Anyway, we are shooting Displeased Wrestling Geek that should be out within the next week or so here if we get all our shooting done today.
It should be soon.
And it'll be good. So keep an eye out for that. And remember that we love you.
I don't. I hate you.
Clark doesn't, but I do. This is the Displeased Wrestling Geek, Dale Curtis, for Clark V. Tatum, signing off. Have a good night.
Bye.